As it relates to food security, the blue economy is very important because fisheries is one of the main pillars of the blue economy. The blue economy activities include fisheries, shipping, coastal tourism, marine renewable energy production. So the blue economy, as it relates to fishing, is one of the main source of protein, healthy protein for our population. So a significant amount of our population relies on fish protein for their daily consumption. It is important for a healthy diet that you consume a variety of food. And so the blue economy and fisheries in particular enables you to do that, because you have several different species of fish that you can select from when you go to the market. You may want some snapper, you may want some conch, you may want some tuna, you may want some marlin. And it is important for nutrition that you select a variety of fish. So globally, the blue economy contributes to food security by two activities: fisheries and aquaculture. Approximately 160 million metric tons of fish is captured annually. This supplies approximately 4 billion persons with their daily protein intake. Grenada in particular, we consume just about 60 pounds of fish per person annually. This is relatively low and in fact has been declining over the past couple of years. Other regional, our neighbors like Barbados and Antigua, they consume 80 and 90 pounds of fish per year, or seafood per year. Numerous sustainable practices and initiatives are being implemented around the world globally to look at the sustainable management of our marine resources, or blue space. These include marine spatial planning, marine protected areas, fisheries regulations, and so on. So for example, a marine spatial plan can look at what a country decides to do within its exclusive economic zone. So that is the ocean region that belongs to the country legally. In the context of Grenada, it is approximately 27,000 square kilometers. So a marine spatial plan will look at what activities happen where, whether it's hydrocarbon extraction, fisheries, offshore wind energy development, fishing practices, fish farm, aquaculture, and so on. So this is one of the tools that can be utilized to do help sustainable practice. Other is a marine protected area. In Grenada, we have several marine protected areas. We have the Morlanet-Bouchejou Marine Protected Area. We have the Sandy Island Oysterbed Marine Protected Area, the Woburn-Clarkscourt Bay Marine Protected Area. Now, these areas vary in what activities can take place within them. You have multi-use areas, multi-zone areas that dictate. It's not one size fit all. It has to be area specific. What is the predominant activity in that particular area that can take place? So marine protected area, fisheries regulations. For instance, you have closed season and open seasons for certain species of fish to help protect the reproductive cycle of these marine species. So these are just three of the tools that can be used to sustainably manage our marine space. The blue economy is faced with several challenges. They include environmental and socio-economic challenges. You have overfishing. Overfishing can lead to the depletion of a particular stock or a particular species of fish. One way to address this is gear selection or restriction on that species. Another significant challenge that is facing our marine space is pollution, both terrestrial pollution and marine pollution from boats, ships, yachts. You have the major challenge of land-based sources of pollution from farms, from houses. If you think about the connection, whatever happens upland in the river, it eventually gets into the marine ecosystem. So it is important that we look at these challenges holistically. What the farmer does, what you do at your home impacts our marine environment, because it is all connected. Our marine space is faced with another challenge, which is habitat destruction. This can stem from both man-made and natural disasters. Hurricanes can destroy our coastal zone, as well as destructive practices such as improper planning. These challenges can be managed by proper enforcement and suitable regulation and laws to dictate what happens in our coastal zone. Another significant threat that faces our blue economy or our marine space is climate change. Now, climate change can have several different impacts that are all detrimental to our coastal and marine resources. You have ocean acidification, you have coastal erosion. These threats are somewhat out of our control, but we have to do our collective part to input into the global efforts that is ongoing to manage our coastal and marine resources. There are several innovations and technologies that can be used in the blue economy to maintain or to sustainably utilize our marine resources. For instance, you have blockchain and traceability technologies that ensure that the consumer can identify the source of the particular fish they are purchasing, whether it's canned tuna, mackerel, sardines, etc. You can actually identify the source of it to determine if it was sustainably caught. Other technologies and methods that can be used to sustainably develop our marine resources are seaweed farming and aquaculture. Now, aquaculture in particular and mariculture tries to reduce the pressure on our wild stock. So you have fish farming basically so that you don't have to go out and catch the wild caught, the species that are in the marine space. So you have fish that is farmed sustainably. In the Grenadian context, we have sea moss farming. Now, sea moss farming is high yield, low impact on the marine ecosystem. So it is one of the thriving sectors that we have in Grenada. And the government is actively looking towards promoting and sustainably developing the sea moss industry and making it even more commercial than it is already is. The consumer plays a very significant and important role in sustainably utilizing our marine resources. First, the consumer needs to educate themselves on the species of fish that they are purchasing or the can of tuna they are taking off the supermarket shelf. It is important that you examine, for instance, a can of tuna to see if there is a label that says sustainably caught or wild caught versus mariculture or aquaculture products. So you need to educate yourself not only what you're consuming, but what you are generating as waste. So, for instance, the shampoos that you use at your home, the soaps that you use at your home, they can have an impact on the downstream effect from the land-based sources of pollution. Because remember, all of our drains and our sewer system, most of our sewer systems are not connected to a central system. So the water that comes from your kitchen sink, the water that comes from your shower, eventually ends up and terminates in the river mouth into the sea. So it's important that you identify products that are environmentally friendly because they do have an impact on the marine environment. Additionally, the consumer can play a role by selecting or educating the fisherman or the fish vendor on a particular species of fish that they have selling. So there are particular fish that are very important to the marine ecosystem. We call them keystone species. So for instance, you have grazers, things like parrotfish. They play a vital role in maintaining ecosystem health, particularly coral reefs. Now, these species of fish, parrotfish in particular, they act as grazers. So they would eat, they are herbivorous, so they would eat all the macroalgae that is on the coral reefs, smothering them. So it's important that we have as much parrotfish as possible as they help control the macroalgae on the coral reef. So if you see a fisherman or fish vendor with parrotfish, you can tell them, well, try and catch another species of fish, or don't shoot a parrotfish because it serves a very important purpose of protecting the coral reef. And that in particular can help the fishermen, because the more healthier the coral reefs are, the more species of fish you would have and the more fish you would have. We have Marine Protected Areas Law. We have a Coastal Zone Management Act that was passed in 2019. In the 2024 budget, we will have allocations for staff in the Coastal Zone Management Unit. We have fisheries laws, fisheries regulations that are existing. Some may be revised and need updating. But these laws are there and they just need to be enforced. And we need community buy-in. The community, the consumer play a vital role in successfully utilizing our marine and our blue economy space. The laws that are there is for everyone to benefit from the blue economy. So it is not to prevent a fisherman from fishing in a particular area, but to ensure that the fisherman's livelihood is protected for his generation and generations to come.